Okay, so today we're diving deep into, well, marriage.
Ooh, exciting.
Right. 10 tips for a successful marriage.
Right.
And all of this is coming from one source, one episode of the Elevate Today and Tomorrow podcast.
Okay.
Did you know that just by expressing appreciation daily can really impact your relationship happiness?
It's amazing how much the little things matter, right? We always think about like the big the big gestures, the big trips or whatever,
Right.
but it's the little daily things. Like, hey, I appreciate you taking the trash out.
Yes, I love that. Totally. So foundational, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of foundations,
Yeah.
the source really stressed that trust is essential.
Absolutely.
But they didn't just say like, trust is good.
Yeah.
They dug deeper into like all the different layers
For sure.
of what trust is.
Yeah, they talked about how trust is not just honesty. You know, it's also about reliability. Like being there for your partner consistently.
Right, showing up.
And transparency.
Yeah.
Being open about your thoughts and feelings.
Being vulnerable.
Yeah, even when it's hard.
Yeah, especially when it's hard.
Especially when it's hard. Yeah.
Which makes me think about communication.
Yeah.
Because that's huge in all relationships.
Totally.
Romantic or otherwise.
Yeah.
And the source actually called it the heartbeat of a healthy marriage.
That's beautiful.
But what I really loved about
Yeah.
the way they talked about it is the emphasis on active listening.
Yes.
It's one thing to hear your partner,
Yeah.
but it's a whole other thing to actually listen.
Totally.
To really try to understand their perspective.
Yes.
And make them feel like you get it.
Yeah. Like they've been heard.
Right.
For sure.
And that takes more than just,
Yeah.
hearing the words coming out of their mouths.
Right.
It's like
actually trying to step into their world for a second.
And understand and see it through their eye.
Where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Asking questions.
Yeah, and really showing them that you're trying to get it.
Yeah. Totally. And I think, when you have that open communication.
Right.
And you feel safe enough to be vulnerable.
Right.
That's where this emotional intimacy comes in.
Yeah.
And the source talked about this as being just as important, if not more, than physical intimacy.
I think
which I thought was really interesting.
It's so foundational, right? Like if you don't feel emotionally connected, then the physical intimacy is never
it's just not going to be as fulfilling,
as meaningful as it could be.
Exactly. Yeah.
And building that emotional intimacy requires intentionality.
Yes.
Like it's got to be something that you
have to work for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Like you have to.
It's not just going to happen.
Actively work to create a space.
Yeah. Like you can't just.
Before you both feel.
Hope for emotional intimacy. You have to actually. Put in the effort to.
Totally.
Build it.
Safe to share, to be vulnerable, all that stuff.
Totally. To show up.
To show up.
As your full self every day.
Yeah.
In the relationship.
I love that.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that saying, like, love is seeing someone fully.
Yeah.
And loving them anyway.
Yeah.
But even when you have all the emotional connection,
right,
life gets busy.
Life gets in the way.
Right. So the source also highlighted the importance of carving out quality time.
Quality time.
For each other.
It's so important.
And they emphasize that it doesn't have to be like these grand gestures.
It doesn't have to be like a week
Yeah.
in Bali.
Yeah.
That
So be as simple as like
15 minutes before bed. Just
to connect.
To connect.
After the kids are down. Or,
Or it's just like a quick 20-minute walk together.
Yeah.
Or just something.
Sitting on the couch.
Where you can actually talk.
Talk.
Connect.
Not just like sitting.
Not just like
sitting there staring at your phones.
Staring at your phones. Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's really common. So
common. Yeah.
Important to point that out.
Yeah.
But they had some really specific examples too.
Oh yeah, they had some good ones.
That I thought were good.
Yeah. What were some of your favorites?
Like scheduling a regular date night.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
So it's on the calendar.
Put it on the calendar.
You can't,
Yeah, make it a priority.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Or finding like a shared hobby.
Oh yeah, that's good.
That you can do together. Something. Like a cooking class or
I don't know.
Hiking or something.
Yeah.
Or something you can connect over.
Yeah, exactly.
And talk about. Now, even the strongest couples.
Oh yeah, of course.
Obviously disagree.
It's gonna happen.
Right.
Yeah.
But the source had some really powerful advice on this idea of forgiveness.
Yes.
Like practicing forgiveness.
Because you're right. Like, you're going to step on each other's toes.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. You're going to say the wrong thing.
Absolutely.
You're going to forget to pick up the dry cleaning.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. And they said something, I wrote it down because it was so good.
All right.
They said, holding on to resentment only harms your relationship.
That's so true.
Right.
It's so true.
And it made me think like forgiveness isn't about saying like, oh, it's okay that you did this to me.
It's not about condoning the behavior.
It's about releasing that negative energy that you're holding on to.
Yeah, because resentment is just like a poison.
Totally.
It just eats away at you. And it eats away at the relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And sometimes, forgiveness goes hand in hand with seeking professional help.
Yeah.
And the source was really adamant about that not being a sign of weakness.
It's a sign of strength.
Right.
To say, you know what, we need a little help here
Yeah.
to navigate this.
We can't do this on our own.
We can't do this on our own.
Which I thought was just really important to hear.
Yeah, and whether it's, couples counseling or individual therapy or even just like talking to a trusted mentor or a religious leader or someone who can offer some wisdom and guidance.
Yeah, some outside perspective.
Yeah, an outside perspective.
Okay, kind of switching gears a bit.
Okay.
The source also emphasized the importance of supporting each other's individual growth. They talked about being each other's biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
Encouraging your partner's development.
Yeah, and I think
whether it's a new hobby.
It's so important to remember that you're two individuals coming together to form a relationship.
Right, not trying to.
And so it's like,
mold each other.
You chose to join your life with this person.
Yeah.
And they have their own
journey.
Hopes and dreams and goals.
Yes.
And you have yours.
Totally.
And to be able to
supporting them in that.
Yeah, and to support them and be their cheerleader in that,
It's huge.
That's how you help each other grow. And that's how you grow together.
And while you're nurturing your individual growth, they also talked about the importance of setting shared goals.
Yes.
As a couple.
It's about like finding that balance, right?
Right.
Between
your individuality?
Yeah, pursuing your individual things, but also having shared goals and
shared purpose.
Shared purpose, yeah.
And they said that, working towards something together. Whether
like financial goals or family planning or travel or
buying a house.
Yeah.
Anything.
Anything, really.
Creates that sense of
teamwork,
partnership, like you're
in it together.
You're on the same team.
Right. We're on the same team.
We're not working against each other.
Exactly.
We're working together.
So many great, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this episode.
Bits of wisdom.
It was jam-packed.
From this one little podcast episode.
Yeah.
And they really hit home with this point about showing appreciation daily.
Yeah, like don't underestimate.
Right.
The power of a simple thank you.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything big.
Yeah, it really does.
But sometimes, like the smallest things.
The little thing.
Or the biggest things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Like just acknowledging.
Like noticing the things.
Yeah, and acknowledging your partner's doing.
Yeah, that your partner's doing.
And saying thank you.
I appreciate that you unloaded the dishwasher.
Yeah, or whatever it is.
Or I appreciate that you, made dinner tonight.
Or got the kids ready for bed.
Yeah, or pick up my dry cleaning.
Right.
Like whatever it is.
It goes a long way.
Yeah.
And lastly, we can't forget about
keeping the romance alive.
Keeping the romance alive.
Yes.
The source actually debunked this myth. That romance just naturally fades over time.
Oh, I hate that myth.
Right.
Like so not true.
No, it takes effort.
It takes effort and intentionality.
Yeah.
You have to decide.
Like you've got to choose it.
Yeah, to keep that spark alive.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
They
suggested all sorts of things.
Oh yeah, they had a bunch of good ideas.
Like celebrating milestones.
Oh yeah, like anniversaries and birthdays and even just like little things.
Little victories.
Little victories, exactly.
Trying new things together.
Oh, that's a fun one. Like a dance class or a
or like
cooking class.
Or go to a concert.
Yeah, just something
like something that you've never done.
To shake things up a little bit.
Right, shake things up a little bit.
Yeah, get out of your routine.
Get out of the rut.
Yeah.
And I think, just making an effort to express love and affection.
Yes.
Regularly.
You're saying I love you and giving hugs and holding hands and
those little things.
Those little things go a long way.
Right, so I think we've covered all 10 tips.
I think so. We did it.
And it's clear that building a strong and fulfilling marriage
it takes work.
Takes effort.
It takes intention.
Communication.
And a whole lot of love. So on that note, here's something to ponder.
Okay.
As you continue to, navigate your relationship.
Yeah.
How do you think societal expectations
that's a good one.
Or cultural norms influence our perceptions of marriage and relationships?
Ooh.
Something to think about.
That's something to think about.
Right.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
I like it.
All right, that's it for today's deep dive.
Well, that was fun.
Until next time.
See you next time.
See ya.